Home Minister Amit Shah fires back at Rahul Gandhi, says reason for Congress loss is their leadership, not EVM, not electoral rolls. Amit Shah slams opposition's move to impeach HC judge over the Deepam Rao, says impeachment motion to appease the vote bank. Amid IndiGo Crisis, DGCA officials to be stationed at IndiGo office to monitor all the parameters of operations and report to the DGCA. Sandesh Khali, key witness injured in an accident, his son killed. Family alleges ex-TMC strongman Shah Jahan behind this accident. Donald Trump unveils gold card visa for foreign nationals to obtain permanent resident status by donating $1 million to the US Treasury. All right, the big statement by RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat on Madurai Deepam Rao says Thiruparankundaram Rao can be resolved in Tamil Nadu itself on the basis of Hindu strength. Deepam issue, if it needs escalation, it will be done. That matter is now sub judice, is what he has said. This is the big statement coming from the RSS chief, Mohan Bhagwat, who has said that this row can be resolved in Tamil Nadu itself on the basis of Hindu strength. And this Deepam issue, if it requires to be escalated, that will be done. However, that matter is now sub judice. So that was his limited statement on this Deepam row that we have seen escalate over the past few days. It has now become a political and judicial face-off. Purnima is now joining us live for more on this. Purnima, thank you so much for joining us. We've been seeing how this row has escalated over the past few days. What can you tell us, the statement that has come from the RSS chief?
Well, RSS chief was in fact responding to a query from the audience at an event that was held in Trichy on the 100 years of Sangh journey. In that, he was asked if the RSS should take up the Thiruparankundaram issue to a national level, and to that he in fact responded that it will be resolved here, but if at all it is needed, this issue will be escalated, but says that the matter is sub judice and he hopes that this issue is resolved in Tamil Nadu itself and it does not need to be escalated, but also spoke about how it will be in the favor of the Hindus. This is something that the RSS chief said at an event in Trichy that was held yesterday. However, the matter is sub judice. Supreme Court will be hearing the case. Then there are a bench of petitions that are pending before the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court as well. So politics over this continues to escalate, with the matter now being heard at both the Apex Court as well as in the Madurai bench. Tomorrow also the case will once again be heard.
All right, Purnima, do stay on with us. Let us just go across to Madhuparna also. Madhuparna, what is your take on what's happening right now? Of course, this matter is sub judice and that will given to understand. The RSS chief has said that let it resolve itself. If it needs an escalation, that will be done.
Yes, MC, you have to, it is just part of his speech that we have heard and we have got it from sources, as I understand, because it was a closed door meeting. We don't know, but what we have actually heard, like when he spoke on camera and his speech was recorded, he said that how the RSS was formed, and he was speaking about it was a movement, it was formed to support Hindus, to unite Hindus, but it was not formed against any other community or anybody per se. And he also said that RSS was never a reactionary force, and it's directly connected to all these kind of incidents or events or developments that are happening now. And he said that if needed, there can be escalation. I understand by escalation, he meant that there can be a societal movement, a social movement, and RSS is not going to spearhead it, but RSS may support it because they always say that it's going to be a people's movement. You know, you have seen after Ram temples, after the consecration of Ram temple, you know, he time and again he said that about any other temple, Sangh will not spearhead any movement, but yes, if there is a social movement or it's a Hindu movement to save any temple or to preserve our ancient culture and values and religious values, of course, Sangh will support it. So, as I cover the organization, I have been covering it for years now. So I understand by escalation he meant that, and comment was very limited. You see, he said that it is sub judice now, and he is not going to say anything further on that. And I think we also should not be, interpret it too much, because then it may go either way. So I guess that he only meant that it can be escalated further after the verdict or after the legal proceedings gets over. As of now, they are only going to wait for what the court is going to say, and they have done it in every case, even for the permission of rallies, in Karnataka, in Kerala. Every time any of such things happen, they always approach court first. They resort to the legal redressal process, and then there can be simultaneous social movements as well.
Absolutely. Madhuparna, thank you so much for bringing us the information on that as well. Do stay on with us. Let's just listen in to what he said exactly.
The awakening of Hindus in Tamil Nadu, I think it is enough to bring about the desired result. But if at all it is needed, the Hindu organizations are working in Tamil Nadu also. They will let us know, then we will think about it. But at present, I think the issue can be resolved here only on basis of the Hindus' strength in Tamil Nadu only. We will not need to escalate it. But one thing is pakka, that issue will be favorably for Hindus. That is definite. Whatever it takes for that, we will do.
All right, so this is where things stand right now. The RSS chief has made a limited statement on this matter. He has taken cognizance of the fact that this matter currently is sub judice. He's spoken about how this entire issue can be resolved, and it is on the basis of Hindu strength in Tamil Nadu. However, if there is an escalation required, that is something that can be looked at going forward. However, he has said, and he's emphasized on this, that this matter is sub judice, so let it resolve itself. Now, for more on this, we have Purnima, who is with us. Now, Purnima, just for the benefit of our viewers, we've seen how this entire row has escalated. If for the benefit of our viewers, if you could just tell us entirely what has transpired so far, and then also we can talk about the political and judicial face-off that we're seeing right now.
Well, it started in November, the end of November, when a petitioner, a Hindu activist, had moved the petition in the Madurai bench, seeking directions from the Madurai bench to light the lamp at the Deepathoon, which is the ancient pillar that is located 500 meters near the Dargah. The Madurai bench had given a favorable response and said that yes, the temple authorities can light the lamp at the Deepathoon. However, what happened was that on the day of Kartika Deepam, which falls on the 3rd of December, the lamp was lit at the usual spot, which has been followed for over 100 years, which is near the Uchi Pillayar temple. That is where every year during Kartika Deepam the lamp is lit. However, knowing that the temple authorities are not going to light the lamp, the petitioner had immediately moved the court, filing a contempt petition saying that the Tamil Nadu government is defying the Madurai bench's order. However, that day, the Madurai bench late evening heard the case. This was on the 3rd of December. And the Madurai bench had in fact said that the petitioner can take 10 more people along with him and go and light the lamp at the Deepathoon in the presence of the CISF.
All right.
However, when they went, yes.
Right, Purnima, just stay on with us. Let's just go across to Mr. A. Saravanan from the DMK, who is also now joining us. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. I want to ask you, what is your assessment of where things stand when it comes to the Deepam lamp row?
See, it is an unnecessary issue raised by the BJP and the RSS. They think it will give them some traction and electoral dividends, and I think they will be sorely mistaken. The people of Tamil Nadu separate religion from politics. In the state of Tamil Nadu, religion is the personal choice of the people here. They don't make it public. And Mr. Mohan Bhagwat, I think he doesn't understand the politics of the state of Tamil Nadu. That is why he said what he said. Nothing will happen here. And he speaks about the consolidation of Hindus, or the Hindus here will take care. The Hindus here will take care of the RSS and BJP, how they have taken care of them in the last 70 years. Another important aspect is this. BJP and the RSS portrays themselves as the guardians or the party which works for the welfare of the Hindus, but it is the reverse. It is the DMK which is working for the welfare of the Hindus. BJP and the RSS is only worried about the upper caste Hindus. BJP is a party which is made of the upper caste Hindus, by the upper caste Hindus and of the upper caste Hindus. So they are not bothered. In Tamil Nadu, we have 69% reservation, which is for the OBCs, SC and STs. It belongs to Hindus. But the BJP that has not done that anywhere. They oppose reservation. Who's benefited by reservation? It is the Hindus who are benefited by reservation. But the BJP and the RSS will oppose and claim that they are for the Hindus. This duplicity is seen through in the state of Tamil Nadu. Even if 1,000 Mohan Bhagwats come, they can't do anything here.
All right, Mr. Saravanan, do stay on with us. We also are now being joined by Narayanan Tirupati. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to ask you what your views on this are.
Yeah, see, the DMK has been dividing the society communally in this issue. There is no problem as to whatsoever it is concerned. The High Court's order should have been obeyed by the government, the Dravid model government, which they have not done. Because they want to create, they want to instigate communal problems there. That is why during the elections, the appeasement of minorities, that is the main issue here. No Muslim had agitated or nobody opposed it, whereas the government is opposing. Why should the government oppose the Sanatan Dharma? Who follows Sanatan Dharma? Because they want to eradicate Sanatan Dharma. So they are targeting a judge from a minority community. This is the problem with the DMK. So we will fight these communal forces like DMK and Congress.
All right, Mr. Saravanan, let me just come back to you on that as well. Of course, at the heart of this entire issue was the High Court order that was not abided by, and which is what Mr. Narayanan Tirupati is also pointing out. So what do you have to say to that?
Yeah, you see, what did Mr. Amit Shah speak about Sabrimala? Court should not pass orders which cannot be complied with. Similarly here, we don't want to create any communal unrest. The government did not want to create any communal unrest, and we have appealed the order. Single judge order is not final. So we have to await the legal process. The BJP cannot jump the gun. See, the BJP is disillusioned. They are not able to gain any traction. The last 12 years of misrule has taken India down a spiral path. There is no economic growth, there are no job creation, and they win elections by stealing votes. To overcome all that, they hide behind religion, which cannot be allowed in the state of Tamil Nadu. People are very aware of how things work. They are aware of the evil designs of the BJP. That is why they have not been able to make any headway in the state of Tamil Nadu.
Mr. Tirupati, let me just come back to you on that as well. He is saying that they shouldn't have jumped the gun. Now, some might argue that when the High Court order is not being abided by, it's perhaps the DMK that is not jumping the gun here by preemptively taking this action. So what do you have to say if you have a counter to that?
No, see, absolutely not. There is no stay or anything. There is no stay. Even the appeal, they have failed in the two-judge bench was dismissed. Everyone knows that. So why you are targeting a single judge? This is the issue. Because he belongs to a particular community, you are afraid because he has cleared more than 85,000 cases in 8 years. That is the record. That is the record of Mr. G.R. Swaminathan, the Honorable Justice. So these people want to target him. That is the main issue. And also the appeasement of minorities. This is communal. When Saravanan compares Kerala, then what communist government did? They said that they wanted to implement the judge's order, the court's order, and they did
All
it.
right.
And as a government, they did their duty. Your duty is to implement what the judges said.
All right, Mr. Tirupati and Mr. Saravanan, thank you so much for joining me on the broadcast and putting forth your respective opinions on this. Also, thank you so much for that. All right, now let's shift our focus, our other big focus that we've been getting you all the developments on for the past few days. There have been fresh revelations in the Goa Nightclub fire case, which have shocked the entire nation. The Goa police has said that the owners, we're talking about Saurabh and Gaurav Luthra, booked the flight tickets to Thailand at 1:17 a.m. Remember, the fire broke out at 12:04 a.m. So, an hour or so after, they were booking their flights to Thailand on the 7th of December, while firemen were still rescuing those trapped inside their establishment. Meanwhile, a Delhi court has granted a 36-hour transit remand of co-owner Ajay Gupta. Remember, he was arrested on Tuesday to Goa police, and the case will be heard in Rohini court today. In the aftermath of all of this, Goa has banned firecrackers, electronic fire effects and fire-related games in all hotels, all pubs and clubs across Goa. The investigation continues as authorities are further tightening the noose on those accused of criminal negligence in this deadly tragedy.
6 लोगों को जो एडमिट किया है उनके अच्छी तरह से ट्रीटमेंट गोवा मेडिकल कॉलेज में दे रहे हैं। 25 लोगों की जो डेड बॉडी थी उनको उनके फैमिली की तरफ हैंड ओवर करके उनके रिचुअल्स कंप्लीट करना, तो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ गोवा ने उनके फैमिली को हैंड ओवर कर दिया और उनके रिचुअल्स दे रहे। हमारी तरफ से जो मदद देनी थी वो हमने मदद भी दी है, कुछ लोगों को बाकी है। पीएम रिलीफ की उसको अकाउंट्स वगैरह पीएम रिलीफ फंड्स को हमने कह दिया है। रेस्टॉल इनमें आज तक 6 लोगों को अरेस्ट किया है और बाकी जिन को अरेस्ट करना है तो गवर्नमेंट लेवल पे हमारे होम पुलिस डिपार्टमेंट अरेस्ट करेंगे। गवर्नमेंट की साइड से 3 लोगों को सस्पेंड भी किया है हमने, उनकी भी मैजिस्ट्रियल इंक्वायरी चालू है। सरकार की तरफ से हमने मैजिस्ट्रियल इंक्वायरी लगाई है। मैजिस्ट्रियल इंक्वायरी का रिपोर्ट विद इन 8 डेज कंप्लीट आएगा।
7th of December 2025, Delhi airport was teeming with passengers who were facing the massive cancellation from IndiGo. But then one flight took off, 6C1073. 4 days later, we are tracking the same flight because on that flight were 2 fugitives of law. The Luthra brothers were trying to flee the country as per Goa police investigation around the same time. This was the time which was about 1:15 when they, as per Goa police investigation, booked a flight to Phuket via a very popular web portal which books tickets internationally. So just about 90 minutes after this blaze took off, or this blaze started in their bar in Goa, where 25 people lost their life, including their employees. Majority of people who died were their employees. The Luthra brothers, Saurabh and Gaurav Luthra, were moving through these corridors of Delhi airport towards Phuket. They were spotted at Phuket that particular day. Yes, like I said, IndiGo passengers were facing massive cancellation, massive delays, but immigration hardly took any time. Less than 5 minutes, you were through immigration, and then once you had crossed immigration, in spite of that lookout circular, there was no stopping the Luthra brothers. The LOC of the lookout circular says that you must stop any fugitive at any port, but that LOC actually came minutes after they had already crossed the immigration counter.
All right, more information that's coming in for this. The Goa government has requested the Ministry of External Affairs to revoke the passports of Gaurav Luthra and Saurabh Luthra. These are the 2 Luthra brothers. The Goa government, it has requested the Ministry of External Affairs to now suspend or revoke their passports so that they're not able to travel abroad further. As you know, they are absconding. We're given to understand that they fled to Thailand immediately after this incident. Now the Goa government has sought permission for their passports to be revoked by the Ministry of External Affairs. We're talking about Gaurav Luthra and Saurabh Luthra. Now, these were the owners, we are given to understand, the principal owners of Goa's Birch by Romeo Lane nightclub, where the fire erupted. All right, so the big development that's just coming in on this, Luthra brothers have been detained. We're given to understand that the 2 Luthra brothers, Gaurav and Saurabh Luthra, have now been detained. This is a big CNN News 18 exclusive that we're getting for you. Gaurav and Saurabh Luthra, the 2 Luthra brothers who'd been absconding since the night of the fire at Birch by Romeo Lane in Goa, their establishment who had fled to Thailand immediately after the fire have finally now been detained. We're given to understand. I was telling you earlier how the Goa government was requesting that their passports be revoked. The two brothers were now learning that they have been detained. This is a huge development in this case. As you know, the third co-owner, which is a certain Ajay Gupta, he was arrested on Tuesday, and now the principal owners, which is Gaurav and Saurabh Luthra, they have been finally detained. For more on this, we have Yesha Kotak live with us. Yesha, huge development that's just coming in this case. The two brothers finally been detained. What more can you tell us about this?
Absolutely, this is a preliminary information that is coming in so far about the Luthra brothers. Clearly, when we speak of the Luthra brothers, they escaped to Phuket. In fact, details from Goa police had confirmed that on the night when the fire broke out, at around 1:17 was when they booked the flights to Phuket via Make My Trip. In fact, by 5:30 a.m. was when they were already on the flight. Now, when we speak of all of this information that comes in, cops had expressed surprise that while there were authorities in Goa trying to douse the fire, both these brothers had tried to escape. In fact, parallelly at Rohini Court as well, they had approached asking for an anticipatory bail plea, the hearing for which is expected to take place today at 10 a.m. But amidst all of this information is coming in because clearly Goa government had also approached the Ministry of External Affairs asking for the cancellation of passports of both of these brothers. Yes.
Absolutely. So now we're given to understand that the Luthra brothers have been detained in Thailand and they will be brought back soon. That's what we are given to understand right now. This is still early information that we're getting. So, of course, developments and other details are still pouring in. They will be brought back soon, we're given to understand, and then will be taken to detention centers. We're given to understand that Indian teams are in touch with the authorities there as well. But this is a huge development in the Goa Nightclub fire tragedy. The two brothers who deemed it fit to flee to Thailand about an hour after the incident took place, when the firefighters were still trying to get the people trapped inside their establishment in Goa, when they were still trying to rescue them, the two brothers at around 1:17 a.m. had booked an IndiGo flight for 5:30 a.m. on the 7th of December to flee to Phuket, from where they had also applied for an anticipatory bail in a Rohini court. Now these two brothers have been detained. These two brothers are the principal owners of this particular establishment, which was just a recipe for a disaster waiting to happen. Now Yesha is still with us. Yesha, of course, we're given to understand that they are in Thailand. Now, what sort of a process is that going to be to bring them back here? What can you tell us?
So when we speak of the Luthra brothers, right here, of course, the fact that they've been detained at Thailand, this detention has taken place by the authorities there. They've been kept in detention center. Now from here, it will be the Indian authorities which will have to approach them, would have to reach Thailand, get them back. Following which, on the basis of that, is where questioning and further course of inquiry can take place in India as well as Goa. When we speak of the entire process, it has been said that they've been detained early this morning. Legal process of bringing them back to India is on. Teams have reached Thailand already, to get them back to India. In fact, it's also been said that they'll be getting them back to immigration, and the FIR copy of the case, which has been registered here at Goa, would also be shared, with the concerned authorities so as to ensure that the Luthra brothers are brought back. Yes.
Right. We also have Simran Babbar live with us. Simran, you have been covering this entire story for us. You also showed us the documents which revealed that there were so many irregularities. There were notices that were issued for about 2 years prior to this tragic incident also. Now, of course, there is some sigh of relief. The two brothers have been detained. They are in Thailand, and we were given to understand that teams have reached Thailand to bring them back. That's, of course, not going to be an easy process. It's going to take some time. They are bringing them back, though. What can you tell us, Simran? What awaits them once they come back to India?
Well, of course. In fact, when yesterday we both spoke about how the third arrest or the sixth arrest, in fact, Ajay Gupta, while he was detained later on, is going to be a big breakthrough by the Goa police. So this is what, in fact, was the big lead that the Goa police was trying to establish. And now, what we are learning also is now what the detained, the information that we learn right now is that both the brothers who have been have been on that property in Thailand. They have been detained by the NCB and on the request of the Goa police. The MEA had also suspended their passports. And after, in fact, a lot of hunt for these brothers, the next step was to formally suspend the passports. And now, after they have been detained, the formal process to bring them back to India and to also initiate the inquiry and the interrogation further in coordination with the Interpol and also the MEA has begun. And as we speak, there is also going to be anticipation in the court today when the bail hearing petition is going to be heard. So their lawyers are going to come up and they are also going to give us, while the hearing will be going on, the information about that the formalities that the lawyers have had to do with these brothers while they have been managed to flee the country and to be, in fact, absconding for a long time after the incident has been reported. The Goa police has been on a massive hunt for these accused of Birch by Romeo Lane. And right now, it is a big breakthrough. No doubt in that the Goa police has been able to manage to get them and through the coordination of different agencies of security and Interpol and also deputation as well. Now they have been detained. So next step is, of course, going to be as they come back to India. Through all the formalities and the interrogation and the investigation will be expanded in that course as well. More revelations are expected on that
Absolutely.
on that site as well. While we speak of the revelations, now it is also important to note that Ajay Gupta, the sixth arrest that we also broke yesterday, is undergoing complete rigorous interrogation as well by
Right.
the Goa police and several agencies as well about the lapses, and not just the lapses, but how interconnected in a close nexus all of these three people who were on paper the owners of Birch responsible for these 25 negligent deaths.
All right.
Ma'am.
Now, let me once again, for our viewers, just take you through what our sources are telling us. This is a big development in this case. The Luthra brothers, were given to understand, were detained early this morning in Thailand. They have been detained there. We're given to understand that Indian teams are already there. They are, of course, going through the entire legal process of bringing them back to India. They reach Thailand. They will be taking them to immigration, and an FIR will be taken there as well for that. And then they will be brought to India. The Luthra brothers were detained in Thailand this morning. Indian teams are already there and they are soon to be brought back to India. And of course, there are certain charges that await them here also. And Simran, I want to come, Yesha and Simran, I want to come back to you on that. Also, Simran, let's just once go through the legal charges that they face once they are back in India.
Well, absolutely. In fact, that is also going to be of huge concern as the legal charges that both these brothers have are under the section of culpable homicide as well, endangering the lives of the people and also flouting all the safety norms. And we detail them in the in our previous reports as well. How exactly under many sections both of these brothers have been charged with severe, in fact, charges and amounting to also murder as well as 25 people that they have lost, and four of them were tourists. They not just the property that was flouting the norms of the fire safety, the evacuation, the exit, but also the land itself. Now the case was already going on. It is already in the local court. The case is spelled out that these brothers are already under the charge of not following the registration and the norms as per the property that they have been operating. It was a salt pan as we speak, and the salt pan on which Birch by Romeo Lane has been built up, the operations and the business that was being functionally operated over the time by these brothers, with all the properties also in mind to expand across Goa in Arpora village and outside that as well, is going to be under a lot of focus. The onus is definitely going to be what was who was also helping them and who was under in
Absolutely.
fact complete umbrella of the assistance this business was being also helped into and was being assisted
Absolutely.
by.
Right. Now, Yesha, let me just come back to you. And what Simran pointed out, that's another major facet of this entire tragedy. We are, of course, going to be talking about whether or not they had help from given how they planned this entire thing. They fled to Thailand, then they filed for that anticipatory bail. The Goa police has charged them under the under culpable homicide. Those are the charges that they face also. There is clearly some sort of indication that they did perhaps have help. On the day when IndiGo was facing massive cancellations, these two brothers managed to get on a flight and get to Phuket, and they were able to avert the avert authorities at every step of the way. Yesha, what can you tell us?
Absolutely. In fact, that we speak of, like you've rightly been mentioning, there have been several allegations that have been leveled against the Luthra brothers. In fact, some being the fact that that there were people higher up in the bureaucracy, they were helping them. In fact, we also heard the whistleblower saying that those in the higher up, in the political circles were also in the know-how. Of whatever was happening. All the locals, be the social activists, be whistleblowers, they had time and again been raising this issue about the fact that there was a huge sum of money that was going in from the pockets of Luthra so as to ensure that this club is functioning illegally. Now here, not only Burj by Romeo Lane, we in fact heard Simran speak about the fact that it was on a salt pan land that Burj by Romeo Lane was built. On the other hand, the Romeo Lane, from where we were reporting yesterday, that was one of the flagship projects right here. Even that had CRZ violations and tourism ministry violations, and the question in fact remained as to why after the death of 25 people was where this 198 square meters of structure was brought down. Yesterday we also reported how CRZ officials were carrying out survey at Romeo Lane, but the question remains as to if there were orders from the court, if there was clear instruction that demolition should take place of these properties, why is it that these properties were not brought down, and who was it that was helping them? Because what is appalling is that while the fire broke out at 12:04, by 1:17 was when the flights from Make My Trip were already booked by Luthra brothers, and by 5:30 they were already bound towards Phuket. So all of this looks like a very planned conspiracy.
Absolutely, Yesha. And you were also speaking to someone yesterday who was talking about how these irregularities, the fact that they did not have these permissions in place, there was no CRZ clearance for their establishment either. This person had pointed it out multiple times. He also did say that the Luthra brothers are very well connected, and in fact, the person who did point out to these irregularities and issued these notices was threatened by the two Luthra brothers also. What can you tell us about that, Yesha?
So yes, the documents that were available with the person who had in fact filed this petition before the court had mentioned that time and again the petitions that were filed, there were contempt petitions that were filed. Also mentioned that that when it comes to these irregularities, those who were in the know-how were aware. And for the last couple of years, Luthra brothers had been planning several such projects across Goa. In fact, showing us these documents, the person also happened to speak about that it's not only Luthra brothers, there are several such Luthra brothers in Goa. When in fact we took a bit of a reality check in Goa, there are several such irregular shacks, illegal restaurants, pubs which have operated. And this is not the story just for Goa. For the last couple of years there have been several such instances which have been highlighted across the country. It is only when a fire incident breaks out, or it is only when people lose their life, is where the authorities really wake up, and that was exactly the question that the whistleblower that we spoke to was answering. Yes,
absolutely, Yesha. Do stay on with us. Of course, for our viewers, let me just take you through what has happened so far this morning. A big breakthrough that has come in this case. This is a big CNN News 18 exclusive that we're getting for you right now. The Luthra brothers have been detained in Thailand. Saurabh Luthra and his brother Gaurav Luthra, these are the principal owners of Burj by Romeo Lane in Goa, the establishment. that caught on fire, and they have been taken to a detention center right now. We're given to understand that Indian teams are in coordination with the authorities there. They've already reached Thailand. They're going through the legal process of trying to bring them back, immigration. All of that process is underway right now also. The two brothers have been charged under culpable homicide. Those are the charges that they face. At least for now, that's what we're given to understand. If there are more charges to follow, that's something that we will tell you about also. Government sources are saying that the Luthra brothers are to be brought back, so that's for sure. We do know that. This is what we're hearing from our sources right now. These two brothers who fled hours after that Goa nightclub tragedy to Phuket have finally been detained in Thailand, and they are to be brought back to India sometime soon. We are going to be bringing you all the developments on that front also. Also, we are right now being joined by one of the victims' kin. We are being joined by Ms. Bhavna Joshi. Ma'am, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, this is the latest that we're getting right now, that the brothers have been detained. They will be brought back to India. I want to know what your reaction to this is. Of course, you've lost your family members in this fire also. What do you have to say, ma'am?
मैम बस मैं यही कहना चाहूंगी कि इनको सबकी सब सजा मिलनी चाहिए, क्योंकि इनकी वजह से कितने परिवारों में अपना घर खोया है। मेरे तो परिवार के 4 मेंबर्स चले गए हमें छोड़ के। मेरे जो परिवार को संभालने वाले थे, मेरे हस्बैंड, वो चले गए। अब इनको सबसे सब सजा मिलनी चाहिए सर।
जी बिल्कुल, ऑफ कोर्स आपके परिवार के 4 मेंबर्स की इस हादसा में मौत हो गई, एंड आपने पहले भी हमारे साथ शेयर किया है कि उस क्लब में उस रात एक्चुअली हुआ क्या। हमें हमारे सोर्सेज से ये पता चला है कि अराउंड 1:17 इन दोनों ब्रदर्स ने गोवा के लिए वो फ्लाइट बुक करा ली थी। आप क्या एक बार हमें बता सकते हैं कि एग्जैक्टली उस रात को हुआ क्या?
मैम एग्जैक्टली उस रात में इनके जो प्रॉपर प्रोटोकॉल ना होने की वजह से जो छोटी सी आग थी वो एक बड़े रूप में तब्दील हो गई, जिसमें मतलब कितने लोगों की जानें चली गई। मतलब उन्होंने वहाँ पे कोई सेफ्टी पर्पस के लिए कोई भी उन्होंने वहाँ पे कोई भी अरेंजमेंट नहीं रखा था। जैसे ना तो कोई उनका इमरजेंसी एग्जिट डोर था मैम, ना ही कोई उनका सेफ्टी फायर अलार्म था मैम, ना तो वहाँ पे आग बुझाने के लिए कोई प्रोटोकॉल थे, कोई भी प्रिकॉशंस नहीं था मैम वहाँ पर। अदरवाइज इतना बड़ा ये हादसा होता ही नहीं मैम। और जो उनका स्टाफ था मैम, जो ऊपर रेस्टोरेंट में उनका स्टाफ था, वो मैम वो सेफ हो गया। जो आम जनता थी मैम, उन्हीं को सारा चीज उन्हीं को ही है। और जो किचन में जो नीचे बेस में लोग थे जो वहाँ पे फंस गए, फंसने की वजह से वहाँ पे मतलब उनकी वहाँ पे उसी टाइम उनका देहांत हो गया। मतलब मुझे ये समझ नहीं आ रहा कि मतलब इनके सारे बाउंसर्स निकल गए, इनकी म्यूजिक टीम निकल गई, इनकी जो बाकी की स्टाफ था वो निकल गया, बाकी आम जनता अंदर ही फंस के मर गई। इतने सारे लोग अंदर फंस के मर गए। मैम आप ये भी बताइए ना, जो ऊपर के लोग थे वो कैसे निकल गए, नीचे के लोग तो फंस ही गए थे, उनके पास कोई दूसरा ऑप्शन ही नहीं था। आप ये भी देख, लेकिन ये जिस तरह से बता रहे हैं कि 25 लोग थे मैम, 25 लोग तो पॉसिबल ही नहीं है।
आपका मानना है कि ज्यादा लोग थे वहाँ पे?
बिल्कुल मैम, ज्यादा लोग थे मैम। 4 मेंबर मेरे परिवार के हैं। मेरे सामने 2-3 मेंबर्स ऐसे थे जो कोई बैंगलोर से था, कोई कहीं से था जी मैम। वो मेरे सामने अपने लिए फैमिली मेंबर्स की डेड बॉडीज लेके गए जी। और ये बोल रहे कि सिर्फ मतलब कि टूरिस्ट 4 लोग थे
जी। बिल्कुल, और आपने ये भी कहा था कि वो जो चिंगारी थी जिसकी वजह से ये फायर स्टार्ट हुई है, वो आपके हस्बैंड ने ही पहले देखी थी। तो ये भी दर्शाता है कि शायद जो वहाँ पे स्टाफ था उनको किसी तरह की फायर ट्रेनिंग भी नहीं दी गई थी, उनको नहीं पता था कि इस तरह की सिचुएशन से कैसे हैंडल करना चाहिए।
बिल्कुल नहीं मैम। इनफैक्ट मेरे हस्बैंड ने जब ये छोटा सा ये जो बर्निंग का जो शॉट देखा, जैसे वीडियो में भी दिखाया जा रहा है, बिल्कुल सेम एज इट इज था मैम। मतलब उसको छोटे से गिलास पानी से ऐसे बुझाया जा रहा है। मतलब ये थोड़ा सा कॉमन सेंस रखना चाहिए। आपको लोग एटलीस्ट पता होता है कि इनके सारे प्रिकॉशंस किस तरह से यूज करने चाहिए मैम। किसी को कुछ भी नहीं पता था। सबसे पहले वही लोग अपनी जान बचा के भाग रहे हैं। पब्लिक को तो उन्होंने मरते हुए छोड़ दिया, सबसे पहले वही लोग अपनी जान बचा के भाग रहे हैं
जी। जी बिल्कुल। सो जो वो स्टाफ था वहाँ पे जो मौजूद थे, वो पहले जो एक एग्जिट था वहाँ से निकल गए। उन्होंने किसी को कोई वार्निंग नहीं दी, उनको फायर प्रोटोकॉल इन प्लेस नहीं था।
बिल्कुल नहीं। उल्टा मैम मेरे हस्बैंड बोल रहे थे कि डोंट पैनिक। मेरे हस्बैंड सबको समझा रहे कि आप पैनिक मत कीजिए, आराम से निकले, सब बच जाएंगे। वो बोल रहे थे। मैं अपने हस्बैंड से बोल रही थी कि आप प्लीज जल्दी आओ, आग बढ़ रही है, जल्दी चलो। वो वहाँ पे लोगों को समझा रहे हैं मैम। अब आप देखिए ना, जो एक इंसान बाहर देश से, मतलब हम लोग दिल्ली से वहाँ गए, मतलब वो लोगों की, उनको जान की परवाह है, लेकिन वहाँ के स्टाफ को कोई परवाह नहीं है मैम।
All right, Ms. Bhavna, thank you so much for joining us and talking to me. I know ये आपके लिए बहुत ही मुश्किल टाइम है, but thank you so much हमसे बात करने के लिए. Of course, ये latest development है that the Luthra brothers are being brought back to India and they will face justice here. They will be brought to justice here is what we are given to understand and what we're hoping for. Also, let's just go across to Yesha and Simran who are still with us. Yesha, let me come back to you. Of course, there's another big element here also that none of the staff there had any sort of training for such sort of an eventuality. Of course, the investigations have revealed, they've uncovered a number of worrying details, widespread use of flammable materials in the interiors, the lack of fire exits, ये तो हम establish कर ही चुके हैं, and the absence of extinguishers underlining culpable homicide, which is the big charge right now that we're given to understand that they face. Now that we also have those documents where regular notices were issued for them, and we're also given to understand that this entire construction was illegal to begin with, what other charges could follow?
So yes, among the basic charges that we of course has been charged by the Goa police includes culpable homicide. But like you've rightly been mentioning about, in the police investigation has been found out that when this event took place, it was a fire show that was held. In the eventuality of the incident that took place, Goa government has yesterday issued a circular stating that such fire shows or any other events in the closed space are to be banned henceforth. The initial FIR only spoke about culpable homicide and several other sections under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. But now there are several other charges that can in fact be put against the Luthra brothers. One, of course, because they went absconding. This is something that the cops will also look into. But apart from that, CRZ violations, illegal structure by which was brought down by tourism department. All of this is also something that the cops will have to investigate. Now, when we speak about some locals who've gone ahead to say that they were also threatened, in case those also come up to speak against the Luthra brothers, that's also something that the cops can take into record. But now, what's important to note is that while the Luthra brothers have been detained, when they're brought back to the country is where cops will have to in fact question, interrogate and record statements of several such people who were linked to this. Statements of some of the victims could also be recorded, and that's on the basis of which is where watertight case could be made against the Luthra brothers. Yes.
Absolutely. Simran, let me just come to you. You have of course spoken to Ms. Bhavna earlier also. You had brought to us her fleshed out statement on exactly what transpired that night. She has said that it was in fact her husband who was trying to manage the crowd there. Now, Simran, we are also waiting to see what more charges they will face. You brought us those documents. If for the benefit of our viewers, you could take us through some of the glaring issues that were pointed out 2 years prior to this, and repeatedly so, to this tragic incident. And also, let's not forget, these two Luthra brothers had also posted that lousy apology on their Instagram handles hours after they deemed it fit to flee to Thailand. Simran, what can you tell us?
Absolutely. In fact, as you are pointing this out, very rightly said. Initially, when we speak of how exactly, they have been in that state of fleeing the country and being very unapologetic and shameless is the perfect, I would want to also add the word that they have also expressed, and they could be called. But at the same time, it's also important to note that yesterday, these two brothers and these two owners of Birch, they actually through their counsel had moved the pre-arrest bail in the Delhi's Rohini court, and that was a transit anticipatory bail that they had moved, and also mentioned through their legal counsel that they went to Thailand for work. It was not to flee the law or to flee the country or to escape the law, rather. They said that they went there because it was work and they want to come back as well, is what their counsel had to say to the bench. And this is where in fact it gets even more in fact ironic, as while the the country was facing the worst aviation crisis, these two brothers could manage to flee also by booking the flight that was immediately available,
Right.
of course, on the tip of those who must have assisted them through the businesses and the trail of the income and the financial assets that were flown. And they also, in fact, through their legal counselor, mentioned that these are not involved in the day-to-day operations in Arpora's Romeo by Lane business, and they did not have to do a lot on the decisions and the management, but in fact they were just the licensees. So how do you go on to explain this? Your name is
Absolutely.
on the paper, your name is on the document that owns that you own, and that calls you as a partner, that calls you as an owner. And once you are going to the court and making these statements, and also in that state while not being in the country to even face the law, to face the repercussions.
Right,
So, of course,
absolutely.
while you ask me that what could be the next charges, of course, this will be taken in consideration as well. How they have attempted to escape the law, they have fled the country, and after fleeing the country, they are trying to move
Absolutely.
the bail of their pre-arrest. But the big breakthrough, as we all have been speaking about, is in fact that now the detained they both have been detained.
Right.
And that is going to be bringing more, in fact, information to the fore about the involvement of those at the back end as well. And who could really be, in
All right.
fact, behind all of these operations that were being hatched and also being put in place by these Luthra brothers, time and again flouting all these glaring revelations and the lapses that were also flouted by the Goa Panchayat, the officials, and even the whistleblowers that have come forward now. Back to you.
Absolutely, Simran. Now, an audacious